Greetings, everyone. Hawksblood here, calling from the Big Island of Hawaii. All right, I got a lot to put out there. I don't know how long it's going to take. Might not be that long, but everyone should hear this at least, whether they want to believe it, follow it, or not. I'm giving you all the ways to figure it out in your own brain. Okay, like when you go into any site, it says, "What's on your mind?" There's so much on my mind right now. J.D. Vance is the biggest liar on the planet next to Mr. Trump. It is sad, and he's not President Trump, everybody. He's ex-president, criminal, right? It is sad people are allowed to tell such lies by so-called important people, allowing them to brainwash poor and innocent people. There should be a code. I mean, at least when they had the debate, the one person was trying to reply to some of the lies that he was saying. He has zero morals, both of them. They have no clue what's going on, and I'll get into that as we move along. How the F-K for a word would anyone know someone is eating their cat or dog unless they actually saw it? Now, I got a dog. Anything happens to that dog, I put my life on the line to defend him. Anything. And if this person saw somebody steal the dog, what they do? Follow him and watch him cook it? That is the most ridiculous thing. And for Trump to come out and say it, and really for them to actually come out and say it, Vance going on about it, really, I'm in Hawaii. We'll talk about that as well. But if a person didn't do something about their dog getting eaten or their cat getting eaten, they're worse fools than Mr. Trump. But if I saw something happening to a dog or a cat, I would try to do something about it right away. First, I would call the police. All right. But then again, to brag about it and say it to the president or the ex-president or vice president or whoever they want to talk to about it, really, you got pictures of them eating your dog? And if you do, you're really messed up because you would have did something with the police about that. But it's a horrible idea, horrible suggestion to even put it out there, and they're making it a big thing, really. Well, the police don't have records, but, if I went up to him and said, my father's ghost was walking around with me and they just stole the car over there, would he believe it because somebody said so? There's a lot of things going on that Mr. Trump does not know. He knows nothing about MJ-12, which is the highest secret level in the United States. All right. He knows nothing what's really going on in the UFO world, which is heavy duty right now. We will be releasing the most powerful UFO ship within a year. It costs $44 billion. It has every weapon known to man on it. All right. It will make the United States #1 in the world again. In case Trump or anybody else doesn't think we're that. We will be. We could be able to annihilate a country in a couple of seconds. The ship is a UFO. It's not like a regular plane at any level. And all the weapons were designed by Nikola Tesla. And if you know anything about it or don't, you should read about his life, what he created, what he did. He created an earthquake machine in 1900. He was working on a doomsday weapon when he kind of disappeared into the woodwork. But, okay, Mr. Vance. Vance is where okay, let's get this straight. I have dogs being missing, signs going up, all that around me all the time. And I've been in Hawaii for 22 years. Never changed. But these people put $1,000, $2,000 rewards for them. You don't think if they would, rather than eat a dog, they would return it for a reward? I mean, that is really a ridiculous thing. And for the supposedly future president of the United States to dive into that, is he going to dive into how he bribed the native elder to say all native people love him? I danced around the United States for 35 years. I met with almost every major elder, medicine man in all the tribes. Nobody likes Trump. What he did to the native people on the pipeline, they didn't show it on the news. Never. And he was president. They were hosing them down in the middle of the winter. 2,000 tribal people and many other people as well. And they were having helicopters fly over their heads in the middle of the night. They had attack dogs running around there. It was horrible. They did nothing about it. It lasted a while. The native people really fought hard. But then you know what Mr. Rump did? He said, I'm going to pass a bill. Anybody that interferes with the pipeline will get 25 years in jail. Meaning, because most of the pipeline's going over the reservations, which should not happen. But again, the United States never respected native people. George Washington and Jefferson spent their whole life killing native people. They killed 50 million native people. They created a constitution which they half stole from the native people, if you don't know that. Then they were paying people while they allowed guns for taking a scalp or killing a native person, man, woman, or child. Obviously, it was more for man, less for women, and a lot less for a child. But if you brought any of them in, scalps, they would get paid for it. So, yeah, guns were there for a pretty long time. Then when the cowboy ever came out, everybody had a gun and was shooting each other. But that wasn't working too good. It only lasted about 80, 90 years, which is a pretty long time as well. But again, the idea of everybody having dangerous guns in the house, there's so many ways to protect yourself without killing a person, without doing horrible damage. But what do these people think? The army's going to come to the house and they're going to be able to fight their way out of it? Really? I know lots of people with guns, and they all love them. And it's probably the only reason why they like Trump. But Biden isn't a Biden. Our future president, vice president, will not be taking guns away from everybody. You just want to make it harder and more refined what they do. They should put gun detectors in every school. That would be one major thing they could do. It wouldn't be that expensive. It costs money, yes. But a metal detector in a thing that you walk through wouldn't be that hard. But here, people, it's about money. Everything that goes on in this planet is about money. Trump was always about money. I heard him since I was a little kid, and it was always this, that, and the other thing. We're going to get into that a lot more. But we don't have people coming across the border here. We have people flying in here from the mainland, China, Japan. All right, and they're moving in. All right, but the problem, and this is not a prejudiced statement, most of the white younger people coming into Hawaii come in with no jobs, have no jobs, live stealing fruits and vegetables from people's land and stuff like that. We have the highest in drug addicts. We have the highest in homeless people next to California. But our population's a lot littler. People, we're trying to build more homes for the homeless people and stuff like that. But, they're not bad people, if you want to call a drug addict bad or good. They're not stealing and robbing people, which is happening. That happens everywhere. And crime here is pretty high. I lived in Jersey. Crime there was high. New York City. Crime there is high. No matter what they say, so many things go unreported. The worst crime, overshooting somebody, is rape and child abuse. And that seems to get the least amount of punishment and jail time out of all of them. A gun fires a bullet, hits somebody, kills them. That person's on to the next life, wherever that is for that person. But a person that gets sexually abused will live with that for the rest of their lives. They should give them compensation for the rest of their lives. They don't even care. They were throwing the tests out in the hospitals and everything else. Men created the system, people. Men, without the caring of women. Do you understand that? And I put a book out for women only, Understanding a Man's Ego. But there's laws there. And if I told you the laws, you wouldn't believe them. But they are on file. I'm not going to get into that today. My book is for women only, basically. understanding a man's ego. Basically, how they live, why they live, and what they do, and everything else. What goes on in their secret mind. Nobody else, no woman could write that because they're not a man. But I dealt with so many men all my life. I worked for the phone company, dealt with multiple people. Yeah, we had a few women phone men at that time, or the phone ladies, really. But I got involved in the UFO world, met groups of men and things like that. They're all the same. Most men, 99.5%, are the same. You know the old phrase, sex, drugs, rock and roll? Well, it might be sex, money, fame, fortune. But I lived with 2 millionaire families, had a millionaire girlfriend, 2 millionaire girlfriends. One was a multi-billionaire who I didn't want to get into a relationship because she's still with her ex-husband. It became a disaster. But what I'm saying is, those people, I learned what Jesus said is real. I'm not a Christian, but I read the Bible maybe 3 or 4 times from cover to cover. Revelations maybe 25 times. And you should read it. If you don't read anything else in the Bible, you should read that. You understand Jesus was preaching, all right, but he wasn't preaching anything that was in the Bible. But John, who wrote Revelations, explains about sins. What sins can't be forgiven? Christianity doesn't want to even know what's in Revelations because it goes against what they're telling people. But I don't get into religion too much. Okay, one person can say they're eating dogs. But what about China? They eat dogs and cats. Other countries. Oh, guess what we're doing in the United States? Selling all our wild horses to China for food. And they're disappearing. Does anybody complain about that? I mean, they're killing the wolves and bears, everything they can. But, you know, there's a reason why the government would get rid of all the horses in the United States. They turn off the gas, all right? And if you don't have an electric car, you're not going anywhere, right? You're not going to have a horse to ride around and get anywhere. I mean, it's simple. If you think of anything they do, there's a simple reason why they do it. They're not intelligent. You don't destroy a planet. You don't destroy and make people sick because you love them or care about them. Everything you eat is contaminated at some level. Well, you know, I don't want to get into that too deep, but whatever you eat, there's poisons in it. When you first started drinking water when you were little, it had chlorine and fluoride in it. Both of them form chlorofluorocarbons, which is poison. Slow death. It wasn't super high quantity, but it was in every water that you drank. It didn't change your teeth. But after the war, they had hundreds and hundreds of barrels of fluoride, and they had to get rid of it. And there was nowhere legally they could dump it. They paid 10 scientists to go through it and say, hey, what can we do with this? Oh, it heals your teeth. It helps your teeth. It does this. No, it doesn't. But you notice we ran out of it a couple years ago. So you're going to see a lot of things saying, oh, no fluoride, because they don't have it no more. And it shouldn't be in there in the first place. And that's only one thing. That's your water. Food is even worse. I hate to go into this real fast, but when I was young, all my friends, all the kids, we drank Coca-Cola and 7-Up, Pepsi, and maybe one other drink. But on top of that, we ate pizza, spaghetti. All right, that was our main food. And then ice cream. That was our diets. And when I was in school, in our whole school, we only had one person overweight. In my high school, we only had 2 people overweight. So guess what? Synthetic sugar is poison, every kind of it. You know, the show isn't going to be on long. And I'm begging you, if you get to see it, send it to everybody you know. Tell them to download it. Because once the government hears, or AI hears certain words, they take it right off. I've lost so many shows. And when you talk about medicine, it disappears real fast. All right? But I'm trying to warn people about the truth, not the lies, not the stories, not ridiculous stories. The truth is hard. It's not fun, and it's not beautiful. All those words, like global warming, which Mr. Trump says it doesn't exist, and all those kind of things. Well, the world is going to be in a disaster within 3 to 5 years. The worst disaster that ever hit this planet for the people. The Earth goes through its changes, but it's even forcing that to change, because we could actually blow up this planet, which wouldn't be a good thing. Not for God, if you even believe in a God. All right, these people crossing the border. Mr. Rumpo says they're all bad, thieves, murderers, and whatever. Does he know anything about the border before he got involved with presidency? My brother's son, he was married and everything else, worked on the border for about 2 years. And I heard the reports from him. Thousands of people, women and children, were dying before they even got to the border. They would pay to get taken to the border. The people taking them out, they would drive them halfway out there and just dump them out with no food, no water, and drive back, pick up more people, bring them out there. These people died. They were dying by the thousands, people. Were they all bad people? And to think a wall will stop you. When you were a little kid and you hit your ball and it went into the other side over a person's fence, what did you do? Jump over the fence, didn't you? And take it. Well, if you were a boy, usually girls probably didn't do that, but boys do. But you build a wall. If you build it 25 feet high, what would you do? Either get a long gaffling hook and a rope or just dig a hole under it. Unless you go 10 feet down in the ground, 25 feet high with electrical wires going all across it. But then again, there's all snippers to cut it and all those kind of things. You're not going to keep them out that way. I mean, if you really wanted to keep them out, you would have drones flying over it. And if people started getting blasted by drones, they wouldn't be going there, period. But people, we don't want to kill people that are coming here, because everybody that's out there listening or lives in the United States probably came here. Unless you're a full native person, you came here. Well, one of your parents did. Well, when they slaughtered the native people, when they attacked the reservations, they raped all the women. So all those women had children. They didn't kill the children because they were raped, no. But they became, how do you think there's so many white native people? All right. Not that many native people, true native people don't believe in mixing their tribe. But it's become passé because children don't want to even learn the native language anymore. I spent 35 years dancing across the United States with different tribes. I sat down with many elders for the night, went to major ceremonies, and I won't even talk about them because they're really crazy, but it's a different world. What we did to them, how we pushed them into seclusion, and they're still property of the government if they're on a reservation. They don't mind native people if they leave the reservation. But if they're on a reservation, they're still considered government property. They get very little help. Few tribes, they support the government. But I'll tell you this, I was involved with that most of my life. I had the papers showing every tribal person that was head of the reservations. 60% were native people. 40% were for government people. If they couldn't bribe the elder, medicine man, whoever was in charge, they would put their own government person in there. So obviously it was about money. When people send money to the native things and stuff like that, it goes to them. They take the money and they throw whatever garbage left out to the people. It's horrible. Still horrible. They're still killing them and raping them and all that kind of stuff on the reservations, people. Why do you think that they don't show any news about native people? They're afraid to, and they don't. All right, there's only one show on TV, but I'm not going to get into it that show actual truth and things that are happening. All right, but here's the thing. You watch the basic news, and they show you a bunch of garbage all the time. Tell you this, tell you that. Person thinks this, person thinks that. How many know the truth? Now, I don't know how far I'm going to get into this, but we can go back. If we want to stick with the border, we go back to Christopher Columbus. When they came in, who did he have on the boat? Were they all nice, loving people? I mean, The Native people didn't deal with Christopher Columbus, not the United States anyway. The Nordics were trading with the Native people already. They weren't killing each other or anything. And then when white man comes in, well, let's smoke the peace pipe. There was no such thing as a peace pipe. Never. It was a prayer pipe. You prayed. Just because you smoked the pipe didn't mean you were peaceful lovers again. They took whatever they wanted, twisted into whatever they wanted it to be. But Wounded Knee was the most serious problem that they ever did. They went into a reservation thinking they could kill all these Native people, and all they did was kill 250 Native women and children. I don't know if you believe in reincarnation. I was there. I was only a few men trying to protect whatever they could, but everybody was slaughtered. All right, that's how the cavalry took over the land. They didn't buy land from anybody, and if they did, they gave them $5 for it because some Native guy goes, "Oh, give me some money, I'll sell you the land," even though they had no rights to the land at any level. But people, you talk about a constitution, even the electoral votes. What do you think it's about, people? How can you vote for Mr. Trump? The electoral vote just means they didn't want poor middle-class people to vote for the president. They wanted to be in control of the president. That's what it was all about. Jefferson was the one that actually gave us the right to vote. Everybody. And then how long did it take them to give women the right to vote? And they were always separated. How's that possible? Because men think different than women. But being persecuted for thousands and hundreds of thousands of years, women are not where they should be or could be. They're trying to survive. Most of them do horrible things just to survive. Now, we're going to get into Trump about that in a second. But let's go past the Native thing. I mean, I danced across the reservations for about 25 years all around the United States with many elders. It was a great time. But the more I learned about their truth and what was never put in any book in school is horrible. But to lie to the world, to tell everybody something different than the truth is horrible. And if you think Trump is going to tell you anything important, oh yeah, they're eating Eskimos up in Alaska, the people that die frozen, they're eating them now. I mean, he'll come up with more stupid, ignorant stuff. When you come out with one thing, that means your brain's already going down a deep end. Anything I say is basically physical experiences I had, things that I have experienced under my own roof, in my own home, in my own body. Death experiences, out-of-body experiences, all that. I went through it all. I was standing next to a Bigfoot. They're real. I mean, all these things. You want the truth? Or you want to just say, well, maybe, could be. UFOs are real. They're here. Our government's been working with them a long time. And it's been a trade system since Truman and Eisenhower. Truman created MJ-12, and it's real. I knew a person in it until he died, killed. They killed his whole family first, and then they killed him. People, when they say, the show ain't going to stay up, I'm so sorry. But just in case, send this to everybody you know as fast as you can. Because, when Snowden put out the truth, and then he had to leave the country, he was only telling the truth. And now he's a criminal. He can't come back into the United States. And Trump would sure not let him in, and if he did, he would do something to him. Well, at least Hillary said she'd let him back in. But, we're moving further and further away from the truth. Nothing's being done to help you live better. Now, I have a student in Slovenia, Slovenia. It's right next to Italy. The laws there are horrible. The way they live is horrible. Everybody gets paid the same amount. Period. Doctor, lawyer, Burger King specialist, whatever it is, even that person on disability gets paid the same. You can't start a business without the government putting their name on it. It's horrible. You talk about conditions, and it's what? What kind of country is it? It's pathetic. I was doing a show for 3 years with a woman in England on UFOs. What's going on there? You don't hear a thing about it. They shut the power off twice a week. They close the streets off so you can't drive after 10 o'clock. I mean, the laws there are crazy. But nobody puts the truth out there. Why is that? Because you can't. Like I said, I don't know how long the show can stay up. AI has certain words you can't say, and I think I said half of them already. But in the interim, I'm trying, and that's all I can do. And I'll give you my email, hawksblood1@AOL.com. Questions on anything, ghosts, spirits, death, reincarnation, all right, UFOs and aliens. I can answer them, but you're going to have to talk to me directly because, like I said, I've been doing shows for a long time, over 15 years now. But every month I always get one taken away from me. And they say if you get 2 in a month, we're taking your site away. I might lose YouTube, and then I'll go to Brighteon or some other site as well. But people, the truth is out there, and it's not going to be what you like. Does truth have to be what you think is right and good? The truth is the truth. It's not what you like or he likes or they like. The world is in trouble. We're going to be running into more trouble. Right now, because of multi-millionaires and billionaires like Gates, you know what you're not going to be eating cats and dogs. You're going to be, hold on. Excuse me. Sorry about that. You're going to be eating cricket burgers. For real. The companies are already in production. And even worse than that, and I'm not making this up, they're making milk from roaches. Don't ask me how many roaches takes to make a glass of water. But it must be super horrible. But it'll probably be expensive as well. And some people are going to follow the rules and follow what you're supposed to have to do. All right. 5 years, we're going to be half the population. AI is going to be in full control of the planet. Not Trump, not anybody else. He could say he's going to be the president forever. No, he's not. I mean, and people don't assassinate people that are good unless they're spiritual. Spiritual people get assassinated. All right? People telling the truth get assassinated. But people that are hated get killed. Always. If somebody has the balls or the courage to do it, yes. Now, he's lucky he didn't get shot. Well, the guy was a poor shot. He missed it and just got his ear. It was about 2 inches from his brain, if there was any in there. People should be up with some site called Teddy Daniels, TEDDYDANIELS. He'll explain what's happening to the food industry right now. He'll give you the actual facts of all the things that have happened in the past 2 years. It'll blow your brains out. For real. I mean, he's trying to sell food for when there's no food, but I'm not saying that's where you should go buy the food because I don't even think that's going to help when all this goes down. Global warming is being escalated to the max. Mr. Putin says we need global warming. He won't let chemtrails fly over his country. You know why? He wants global warming so he can do farming a lot longer than he is there now. But he cares about his people, only his people, not the world, not anybody else except the people in his country. All right? But when Mr. Rumpo says he's friends with him, really? Now, this is a fact, and you don't have to believe it or not. 3 months before Trump was elected president years ago, Mr. Putin went on Russian TV and said, I'm going to ask Mr. Trump to tell the world what really happened at 9/11. Seriously. And you don't know. There's nobody out there talking about the truth at all. The planes hit 2 buildings. 3rd building went down. All right. So let's skip that. He also said something really crazy to Mr. Trump. He says, I want you to tell the world what you're doing with aliens. And he said, we're already working with 27 alien races. And then he said, 2 races want to destroy the planet, which I can tell you. The United States and Russia have been fighting aliens a couple times, major wars in space already. Do you want to hear that? No. Does Trump even care? No. No. I bet he doesn't even know about the spaceship coming out, because that's going to change the level of what people think of us. All right? So people, when I say things, I'm not just saying it because I'm attacking somebody because I just want to attack them. I worry what's going to happen to this planet. All right? People worried about cats and dogs getting eaten? No. People should be more worried. I mean, the Animal Society sends me letters every week protecting the elephants, alligators, bears, you name it. Know what endangered species mean? I hope you do. All right. Eric and Donald Jr. go hunting for endangered species. And if that's not sick, I don't know what is. I said they should put them both in a cage with a lion with no weapons and see what happens. See how brave and super powerful, whatever they think they are. All right. You know, we pick people for what reason? Now, I'm going to go into a really bad part of Mr. Trump's life. Not the cats and dogs things, not about Putin, all right? About Mr. Trump himself. All right, this is a fact, people, and do it right away, because he's going to do everything he can to hide everything he can. He said he was going to come out with Jeffrey Epstein's file. How would he have it? How would he know he had it? And why wasn't it released when before he was killed in jail? All right? Because Trump's name is on it, people. Now, if you go online, I have a link here, but I don't know how to put it out there right away for you. But go into, let's see, what is it? Go, who was Jeffrey Epstein? This disgraced financier who powerful associations. All right? And it's multiple pictures, videos, and him and his wife, him and his Epstein and little girl and things like that. It's all there, people. He can say, oh, it's AI, it's all AI. He's full of it. He's lying to you straight out. All right? And check it out. I'm not making this up. Oh, well, that's an AI picture. Yeah, there's AI pictures. And usually you can do certain things with it. But these pictures were how long ago? He was young, real young. I wouldn't say good looking, maybe, if you want to, but a lot better looking than he looks now. All right? And he's bragging how pretty he is to other people? Really? It's sad, people. You want to vote. And then people say, well, they're involved with... You know, when Epstein was dealing with people, you know how many people he was dealing with? All the big people. I mean, they were trying to get Hillary pulled into the mob of people that were doing child sales and all that. It was the biggest thing, but it was completely hidden and covered, wasn't it? Because who got the end of it? Epstein. And I guess what? He knew what would happen to him. But his only protection was to put out the list. And they couldn't allow that to happen. Somebody said maybe he's alive. They just said he got killed, and they put him somewhere healthy and wealthy and wise. But maybe Elvis Presley and all these other people. I can go into that, but I'm not. So think about that, really. Okay, Trump is calling his people to do things. I mean, you know, the statement they should have put everywhere was when, what was it, about a week before the attack on the White House, he came out and said the United States is going to see the worst firestorm ever in history. What's that mean, people? Does anybody have a clue what that might mean? For him to say he wasn't inciting a riot? Now, I did a march on the UN with 2,000 people, 50 of it's Native people, but people marched. We got to the UN, and I'm talking years ago, over Leonard Peltier. No president released them because we marched on the UN. We were surrounded by FEMA people with machine guns. No lie. New York City surrounded us. Not one person, not two. The whole block was completely a ring of FBI people with machine guns and guns and everything else. I thought we were going to get killed. I really did. Because we had people from other countries talking about rights and things like that. And it was all about, if you don't know the story of Leonard Peltier, Native people have a land where white people are not allowed to go on, period. So basically what was happening, government agents were chasing a Native person, drove onto their reservation, and shot them. And then those two FBI agents were shot by multiple guns. And who did they blame? Leonard Peltier, who was the head of the Native American movement. Why? Because he's the head of the Native American movement. The gun wasn't his. It wasn't his bullets that shot and killed these FBI agents either. He's been in jail for, 48 years. He's been dying for the past 8. He wrote a book in jail. His life in jail. It was horrible. But government is still much more evil than you will ever think it is. And you should know that. Why do we have so many poor homeless people? Why do we have people on the wrong drugs? Why do we have people getting the drugs taken away from them that really need it? Everything is wrong because the people in power do not care about middle class, low middle class, and poor people and sick people. High middle class get closer to the rich people and they don't worry about them because if they got $1 million house, they don't want some horrible, I don't know what kind of words they would say, poor little person moving next door to my house. All right, think about it. If you were a billionaire right now, where would you want to live? In the ghettos of New York City? No, I'm sure you wouldn't. I used to go there a lot. The Camel Mansion was where George Washington had his headquarters. He built the first mansion in New York City right there in Harlem. I used to do Ghostbusting there, for real, for about 1.5 years. But it was all horse stables. Then they converted it into the ghettos. But the house is still there. Beautiful mansion. Madame Jumel went to England and rode with, she rode there and almost got thrown out of the country. If she didn't get out, she would have been killed. So yeah, the stories are incredible. But we found secret documents inside that house because we were allowed to do anything in that house we wanted. Because I worked with one of the top psychics in the United States at the time. And she used to channel as well. What was it? One of the big famous movie companies came there to do a video on Madame Jumel. And they're on the floor with a Ouija board. Seriously. And the person I was with went into a trance and says, "Get them out of my house." And he comes running over. "What's going on with her? What's going on? Is she in a trance? Oh, we need her. We're doing a movie." Well, it almost happened. But my friend's husband said, "You can't do it no more. You can't be involved with that, blah, blah, blah." And the movie was cut short. But we had the scripts and everything else. I was supposed to be the stable boy. And I'm not going to get into that story. But the truth is, that was where George Washington could see the north, the east, and the west river when the boats came in. And there were so many people killed there. But, you heard about the Jersey Wall, New York Wall, where they put everybody's name that came into the country on that wall. Is your name on it? Is Trump's name on it? But, here's the thing. People coming into the country are no better than people sneaking into the country or that we're here. We're all people. And we should realize that, which doesn't seem like it's going to happen. If Trump gets in, that is for sure. People said she didn't do a good job. She was not president. Trump is not president right now. She can do an incredible job. She cares about people. She really does. A vice president, he cares about people. Look at his life. No matter what Trump says. He didn't serve in the army. He was never in the army. How does he know anything about war? For real. Oh, somebody said this. Somebody said that. And that's what he bases his truth on? Like I said, I don't talk about death, but I had 5 death experiences. Leaving the body. I spent half of my life leaving the body. I mean, I talk about things that I actually experienced. I was next to an alien. I was next to a UFO. So, yeah, they're real. I was called crazy half of my life because of that. People don't want to hear that. Oh, well, you're just making it up. Uh, but people, the truth's going to hit you in the face within 5 years. It's called UN Agenda 30. By 2030, the world will be one world order. AI will be the main control of it, and the population will be cut in half. 193 countries agreed on it already. Seriously. You don't have to believe me. The information's out there. Why? And they're talking about creating drugs and blah, blah, blah. The United States has 12 underground, I don't know what you want to call them, drug companies, making viruses with no cures. And they won't ever tell you where they are because people will blow them up and everything else. Look, I'm giving you the facts, people. You can listen, run, and hide, but you will be seeing it soon enough. All right. I can tell you the native prophecy. Native prophecy is the same prophecy the Tibetan people had. I mean, Tibetan people, we're talking about Tibetan people, and native people, we're talking about native people. But Tibet was taken out by China. All right? The native people's prophecy. I was with Thomas Binyaka, the oldest Hopi elder in the United States before he died. Right before he died. He said, unless the white man unites with the red man, the world will be destroyed. And he's pretty close so far. And I see it happening greatly because they don't respect native people. Well, how many native people are in Congress? How many native people are running for president? How many native people are anywhere? And why is that? Because they're poor, starving, homeless? What? What's the reason, people? Do you care? I know when I dance at powwows, people come up to me, oh, they're not real Indians. I said, well, then what are they? Oh, they're just fake. Fake what? Fake people? Ask Trump what a native person really is. Ask what they believe in. Ask him anything. He knows nothing about native people, but he doesn't care about them. You don't know things about people you don't care about, or you don't care to know it. People, I've been doing shows for such a long time about UFOs and everything else, but this is the worst critical time in our history. Will change everything. Not about like the Egyptians, the Mayans, the Aztecs, all worked with aliens. Ancient aliens still pretending, well, maybe they have alien friends that or have helped them. And, if you look at the hieroglyphics of the Egyptians, they were given false information. Now, I'm going to tell you things that are more critical than that. All right. And I know more than probably 90% of the people, 99% of the people on this planet about it. Nikolai Tesla worked in New Jersey. He worked in an underground base, which was actually antifreeze company. All right. So, but at that time, he wrote a lot of letters. He wrote the inventions. He came up with 200 inventions. He didn't go to some super powerful school to learn super things. 50 of them were the most deadliest weapons on the planet, including an earthquake machine. In 1900, he put it on and almost leveled the New York City block. All right, when he was working on a doomsday weapon, they came after him. All right, I mean, teleportation, all those things he was working on, including he did create time travel. I could go into that, but I'm not. But you can believe what you want. But doing things like that doesn't help us because we don't respect what we have. You can't move forward if you don't respect what you have in the first place. Building more machines doesn't make us better. Higher technology doesn't make us more compassionate, loving beings. I've been writing letters to Trump, Musk every day. All Musk says is, I want to get to Mars. I want to go to Mars. Who wants to come with me to Mars? I'm going to give a contest, and whoever wins can go with me to Mars. I mean, he's so brain set on going to Mars. And I said, do you know what you're going to find on Mars? I know, but he doesn't. And I said, do you really think you're going to be able to survive there? To do what? What are you going to do on Mars? Take a nice hot shower and go swimming? Oh, really? What do you think you're going to do on Mars? What are you going to eat? People, millionaires and billionaires don't have a brain to think by. I hate to say it, 99% of all of them. Sure, if they give money away, somebody like Oprah, I changed my whole viewpoint on Oprah because she's a Republican, basically, and now she became a Democrat, which I was blown away. When she supported Kamala, I couldn't believe it. Well, maybe because she's black, but for her to do that, she has more money than almost everybody else in the United States. For her to actually do that, knowing that her taxes will be going skyrocketing next year. But rich people are going to try to stop this. You know that. And why would poor people vote for him? Well, he said we can have guns. What are you going to do? Shoot the president when he comes to your door? What are you going to do with your guns, people? They kill. They don't make people sick and fall over like a self-defense weapon would. Mace spray, even tear gas spray, a taser, all those things don't kill people 99% of the time. Sure, there's always an accident here and there on anything. But then again, the United States outlawed marijuana a long time ago, and they made liquor legal. And liquor is the biggest killer of mankind in the United States than anything else there is. People, you created a society that grows in disease. It doesn't grow better. The native people taught people. They created something called the cancer answer about a long time ago. You can still get it in a drugstore. Got to go on it for a couple months, but it helps. It cures cancer. And they found that out a long time ago. And native people believe, and it's the truth, wherever something is, any kind of bacteria, virus, or thing, the plants around it will be the cure for it. The rainforests and places like that have the cure for everything on this planet. We had the cure for leprosy, people. And guess what? We're too cheap to pay to put it where it needed right now because there's people dying of leprosy. But who's going to pay to ship it into some little country and a little thing and blah, blah, blah? People with money don't want to lose it, don't want to spend it. Now, I'm going to put this in, which I put in almost everything I say. It's in the Bible 3 times. All right, but a lot of the stuff in the Bible is written by man, not Jesus or God. But it says, it's easier for a camel to go through an eye of a needle than a rich person to get into heaven. Why would you say that? Because it's true at every level. If you could stand there with billions of dollars in your pocket and walk down the street and see these little children get starved, taken, and all those kind of things, and not try to stop it? And Musk wants to go to Mars. Like, oh, that's going to help our planet really good. How many people do you think can get on Mars before the Earth gets destroyed? Now, something that's really up in the air. Everybody thinks we need fracking. Well, it's one of the 5 things that causes global warming. If you never heard of the HAARP system, HAARP, read about it. Chemtrails are real. Hawaii sprays us every 3 days. All right. And the government's been doing that since the 1950s, but with different chemicals and different things. I can go into that, but it gets mind-boggling what they're doing now. The dirt was healthy. If you had a cut, you could put dirt on your cut, which I did when I was little, and it would heal it. But the bacteria in the dirt even died. And that's why vegetables and plants are cut down to about 1/3 of what vitamins they had 50 years ago. Do you know the truth? Do you know anything about it? Do you care? So you could go out and drunk, get party, and have sex the next night, whatever. Is that all you care about? Oh, no, I need to make $100 a day, $100 an hour, whatever. Really? And what about the rest of the world? What's happening? And then how come relationships can't stay together? We have the highest number of breakups. Is that because people are coming in from other countries? No. Mankind, men, have lost their foundation. No truth to spirit, no truth to God, no truth to anything. Now, the average person goes to church on Sunday and they act like a normal person all week, drinking, smoking, partying. When Jesus met people, I was there, I could tell you straight out. He said, go out and sin no more. He didn't say, come back next week and I'll forgive you. It wasn't like that. That's why you should read Revelations. But he never took credit. He didn't have an ego. He was one of the few men on this planet that never walked this planet with an ego. And he would say to people, you healed yourself. He wouldn't take credit for any of that either. He was one of the most loving people that ever lived on this planet. And they had to kill him because he was too good. And his teachings were too important. Not about saving your sorry ass. You think Jesus is going to be crucified on the cross to save your sorry ass that long ago for what you do now? Nobody in your families learn not to do certain things, like kill people? War is evil. Money's evil. Everything we create is basically evil. Not one spiritual thing was ever created in the past 100 years. Why is that? And ask a person what spiritual means. They have no clue. Oh, I go to church, or I go this, I do meditation. Really? And that makes you spiritual? Well, I'm a sixth-dimensional being. What's that freaking mean? They don't know how to get out of the body and go and see higher gods and little gods, deities and angels and all those words. Well, everybody meets Gabriel. Or everybody meets Michael. Out of all the angels, in the Bible there's 9 angels mentioned. Revelations, John talks about hundreds of angels. So to say that, oh, I'm working with Michael or Gabriel is an ego thing. Angels don't go walking around, I'm Gabriel, you want to talk to me? And when Muhammad went to Gabriel and got his teachings, guess who told him who it was? His brother. And if you read them, try to go online, pull up the site, and learn about what Muhammad actually was told by this angel. They contradict each other. Every third sentence contradicts the one before it. Angels don't need to talk like that. Seriously. The Egyptians worked with aliens, not angels or gods. And it was never gods in all history. It was called deities. Everything that was out there was a deity, not a god. We gave everything a god that's outside of our planet. Like, not the one that created everything. And now in the UFO world, they're trying to say the Anunnaki created us, which is another ridiculous story. And when you read hieroglyphics on a wall, it's some man's twisted idea of truth. How many people they all say they have the truth, but how real is that truth? I wonder if a few people are going to say, Bigfoot is real. It's a live entity. I mean, if you say it, you never met one, you never saw one, we're never next to one. You can't say it. You can, but it doesn't mean anything. So, people, I'm going through this show today. If you vote for Trump, I feel sorry for you. You'll get what you deserve for voting for him, for getting him in power. But he did say, I'm going to be a dictator the first day, and you'll probably never vote again. What's that freaking mean to you people? Do you understand that? Do you understand his plans in the 2025? What's going to happen? Taking every right away from women. Do you understand that, women? If not, why not? And if you don't, I feel sorry for you too. The world's in a serious place. And we got one of the most dangerous people coming into superpower. He will get rid of every Democrat he can in the government. I promise you. He's going to let all his prisoners out of jail. When he left presidency last time, he let 222 or whatever, close to that, prisoners out of jail the week before he left the office. I guess he hoped that 225 people will vote for him. Oh, they probably will. Because now the ones that went on the 9/11, he's going to let all them out. Not 9/11 on the White House. But realize, he's not an honest man. His co-host, vice president, is not an honest person, caring person. And I can't even say the words that he is. But he doesn't care either. Now, one other thing I want to throw in there before this ends. Trump has his platform on X. And Mr. Musk gave him that platform. Now, Musk is supporting Trump every which way, including with lots of money. But I found out he's going to be on Trump's cabinet, of whatever you want to call it. Trump will do anything, and Musk will do anything as well. Anything make his platform bigger for himself. I mean, if he's in government and everything else, he has more control of what's going to happen. Obviously, he's not going to tax himself. Do you realize that, people? Do you realize what we're putting ourselves into? Do you see any way we're going to get out of this if Trump gets in? No, there isn't. Well, Musk is a very powerful man, but he's not doing anything powerfully good, which he could. Gates is on the opposite end. He's working with China, trying to take away our food. Do you understand that? Do you want the facts of what's happening, or you want to live in a box and say, well, if Trump gets in, he's going to give us more money. He's going to get rid of things. How do you get rid of things? Stop schooling, stop police, stop what? What are you going to put in its place? Ego? And say it's not going to happen? Guns have to be stopped, people, or you're going to see more children die every year, and it's growing every month. Not one child, 5, 10, 15, 20. How many people get hurt? And I'm talking about that, it's serious. Most people with guns usually shoot themselves, believe it or not, than shoot other people. I have a friend that just did it, and I was blown away. I said, how stupid can you be? But, they're saying accidents happen. Ignorance causes accidents to happen. And if you think Trump gets in, he's going to help us in any way, I'd love to debate him or his co-host, cohort, because they're not going to talk about what's important on this planet right now. Healthy food. Stop synthetic sugars going into our food. All our food has toxic poisons. When they say, well, it has none of this, they didn't put none of it in, but where it came from, it did. That's the code that they use. Really, I don't make these things up. They're for real. But people, I'm going to end it here. But please, if you get to watch this to the end, send it to everybody you know as fast as you can. Because I know Musk won't like this, Trump won't like it, the government won't like it, and you too will not like it. Well, people, I'm not going to say enjoy your day. I don't know how good it was or how bad it was. But look for the truth, the real truth. Look what's going to make life better for us as people, as world people, as a country people. Tribal people never killed each other. Do you know that? They fought and everything, but they didn't kill each other. They just stole horses from each other and things like that. They didn't go around killing each other. Sure, when the government got involved and paid them to become part of their army, they used the native code to transmit on their walkie-talkies because nobody could understand it. Russia, China, any other country couldn't understand what the native people said. But, we came a long way, technically, but not intelligently, not spiritually. And I would rather have the other three than the first one. Technology is just a way to make things easier for people. Man's only thing they want is a better toy to play with. I mean, I didn't have much toys when I was little. We didn't have computers. We didn't have cell phones. We didn't have toy games like that or anything. But now we're going to punish our children. Let's take their game away. You program them to play a game, and then you're going to take it away from them. What are they going to do in the time that they're not playing with their computer? They can learn 10 times more on that computer than they can do in a school in 10 years. You can ask any question on a computer and get an answer. When I was in school, we had to go to the library and find the right book to look it up. That part is incredible if you use it wisely, intelligently, not evilly, negatively. All right, people. Peace, love, passion, whatever you want. Don't stop until you find the real truth. And just because you believe it's real, you better make sure that it is real. Death is coming. You're lucky if you ever live to 125. Moses supposedly 1,000, a couple other people too. But when you live old, you see your whole family die. Fact. Peace. Till next time. Tommy Hawksblood. Hawksblood1 AOL.com. Email me. Come after me. Do whatever you want. But that's Tommy Hawksblood. All right. AOL.com. I answer any question you have with a real answer. 9/11 was the biggest scam. And when people come out and say, oh, yeah, that really happened. No, it didn't really happen. All right. I could tell you one last thing. I have a good friend, psychic UFO person as well. He was put in jail with 150 false charges. They tortured him, did all kinds of things to him in jail for 2 years. And he has cancer from his throat down into his lungs. They've had to let him out. He's still alive, barely, on machines and everything else. But he actually brought people up to see Area 51, to see the mothership come in twice every month. It's all real, people. But the people that talk about it suffer. Why am I still alive? I have no clue. I'm not main character. I mean, I don't have thousands. If I had 1 million people in my sight, they'd probably come after me tomorrow. But people, look for the truth. And you're not going to find it pretty well anywhere else easily. All right. Till next time. Hasta luego, amigos.